And let's go to this now. The battle for the Marikana massacre civil claims rages on. The lawyers for the injured and arrested mine workers are yet to get the personal compensation they want from President Cyril Ramaphosa. They're also demanding an apology from the president. Let's speak to Andries Nkome, who's their lawyer, of course, and to get an update from him. Andries, thank you so much for your time this evening. The president's papers are in, the submissions are in, and of course he is making it very clear that he wants your prayers dismissed. Before we even go to that particular point, let's talk about what happens now that his own papers are now in.
Thanks, Bongi, and thanks for having me. What we have in front of the courts is an order by Judge Van Oosten, which stated on the 30th of June that the president has got factual and legal reasons why he's supposed to respond to the summons which have been issued. And this came after the president, instead of answering to the summons that we issued against him on the 20th of October, came up with a technical defense, which essentially sought to completely dismiss the plaintiff's actions. But then the judge did not agree with him, and now the order is that he must come through to court and answer.
And given that particular, court case on the 30th of June and that ruling, then the issue that, Advocate Alumbofo has been quite, strong in canvassing, even in the commission, it's been coming up quite a number of times. And that is the issue of the toxic collusion between state and capital, as he called it, even in the commission. How significant is this when you look at that particular ruling and juxtaposing this with some of the phone calls that the president is talking about having made ahead of the 16th?
The judge essentially stated that we have been able to prove through our arguments in courts that the senior police management would not have acted in a particular way had it not been for the either intentional or reckless statements which were made by the president. So therefore, the agreement is that the president was at the center of the toxic collusion that caused the massacre, that caused people to die and most to be injured, and some of them to even end up being prosecuted.
And the president also, raising serious issues here, saying that, when it comes to the issue of claims, he said that if all defendants are joint wrongdoers, as the mine workers alleged, then the damages sought against him personally should be dismissed, given that the other defendants might have paid or will pay the plaintiffs. How do you then respond to this one?
It is not just financial compensation that our clients are looking for. The clients that we represent are saying the massacre took place as a result of the actions of three parties, President Ramaphosa in his personal capacity, lawmen, as well as government. Now, against President Ramaphosa in his personal capacity, they are saying they need an apology, and that apology cannot come from either the state or lawmen. And it's for that reason that we are saying they need to pursue with this particular action against President Ramaphosa and lawmen to get the particular damages that they're looking for against them.
How hopeful, though, are your clients that they'll be able to get this apology from the president, given how things have unfolded with this particular issue of Marikana? I mean, the president has not even been able to be part of the commemorations over 10 years later.
It has taken 10 years. You'd remember that the findings of Judge Ian Falam had been that the president is supposed to be exonerated. And he had only gone to people that are officials of the SAPS. The highest ranking official that was blamed for the Marikana massacre was the then National Police Commissioner, RPF. So it has taken us at least 10 years to get here, and clients are saying they are willing to fight yet another 10 years simply because courts are the only forums out of which they believe they can get the recourse and they can get justice.
And what happens if they don't?
Look, we'll have to pursue these matters in front of the courts. The last instruction that they've given us is that we should also go through and see to it that those that are supposed to be held criminally liable are held criminally liable. Those that are supposed to be held civilly liable are supposed to be held civilly liable, and we should be able to also go and review the findings of the Falam Commission. So they are very, very confident that we'll be able to get that relief out of the courts.
And I was going to get to that point, because ultimately what you are arguing through your papers in court is a stark contrast to some of the findings of the Falam Commission then. Are you then far enough in your process to have this report, reviewed at some point, or are you still waiting for the outcome of this particular process to then be able to chart a way forward?
Look, it is not a very great contrast between the findings of the judgment of Judge Van Oosten together with the findings of Judge Yenfala. You'll remember that during the findings or the hearing of Judge Yenfala, the SAPS called an expert police witness, Mr. Diroba, and he came through to say that there was no way in which the police would have acted in the way that they did had it not been for exerted political pressure. Now, we found it very, very strange that Judge Yenfala would then come to a conclusion that says there was no political pressure and therefore people are supposed to be exonerated. So we would be able to make use of the very same record of Judge Yenfala as well as the findings of Judge Van Oosten, and make sure that we convince the court and state that the findings of Judge Yenfala are supposed to be reviewed, and we're supposed to then have other findings against the political people.
And where is that process now, the process of this particular review? Because as you say, Andries, I mean, the commission didn't have a case for the president to answer to. And I remember even at the time, yourselves, and your clients, you were not happy with the fact that this is the case. And you were also saying that there's quite a number of other findings that you believe that he could have reached a different conclusion. So when do you then go to court to be able to start this process of setting this report aside?
We have now been able to get a plea out of the president. We had served on him a notice of bar on the 3rd of November, stating that if he does not give us reasons of his defense within 5 days, we're going to be getting judgment against him in his absence. Now, 5 days thereafter, he filed a plea, which essentially admits to the telephonic discussions that we had with head honchos in the Ministry of Mineral Resources as well as in the SAPS and London. And we are saying, post that, now we are just at the door of getting to get a court date where we'll then be able to have the president sit in the dock in his personal capacity to respond to what his actions entailed, why did he do what he did when the massacre took place. And immediately after that, we should be able to go and review the Falam Commission.
And are your clients hopeful that should you get to a point of having the president, should the courts even allow that he comes to the dock and comes and answer serious questions, as you say, from your side, are your clients hopeful that this could put some finality to some of the issues that they are raising?
Indeed so, yes. The basic expectation that our clients had was that the president in his personal capacity would have gone to Marikana and to say that I'm putting up an unconditional apology for what I did in the utterances that I made, in the emails that I had written out. And possibly the outcomes would have become much, much different. Now it looks as though President Ramaphosa in his personal capacity is holding tight on his position, and therefore that's also getting our clients to say they would also want to see justice through the courts up until the last minute.
And just as a final one then, Andries, let's then look at this particular matter that is before the courts now, especially coming after the, the June 30th, ruling, and where we are now with the latest papers from the president. What then becomes the process that is going to unfold, and how long are you anticipating that things are going to take before you get to, that final conclusion that you're hoping for?
It should not be a long process. As at this stage, pleadings have essentially closed. It therefore means each party is supposed to disclose the documents as well as evidence on which it's going to rely in the trial. Okay. Then we are at the court for a trial date, and therefore the matter will start to run its course.
All right. Let's see then when that matter actually does get underway. Do appreciate your time. That's Andries Nkome, the Marikana miners attorney.